Yeah.
I'm doing good, thank you very much. I just want to let you know I got an offer on your cases here. Um, it's not good, I'll be honest with you. They're making an offer of $50,000 for both of you each, so $50,000 and $50,000, which is obviously ridiculously low based on the treatment that you incurred and medical expenses that you currently have. They're basically arguing that a lot of your injuries appear to be pre-existing. I don't know whether or not that's necessarily true, because my understanding is you weren't treating for any injuries prior to this. Is that correct?
No, no. I mean, what injuries? What are they talking about?
I just reading the letter that they sent me, they didn't specify. They just said that you had pre-existing conditions that were not related to the accident and therefore not in consideration. I haven't had a chance to speak to the adjuster. I called them as soon as I got this letter. They didn't answer, so I just figured I'd give you a call.
So what do we do from now?
We're going to file a lawsuit.
Okay. That's the best thing to do. Because
Yes.
they have to understand, they cannot just say pre-existing conditions. They have to have the documents. They have, even, I mean, I don't understand that.
I'm sure they have a reason for it. I don't know why they would say that either, but I'm sure that they've got something that they're pointing to. They're not probably just saying it outright, but of course they could. But either way, it is what it is at this point. So we're going to file a lawsuit, and I'm going to prepare the documents immediately.
Okay, so are they talking about both of us pre-existing, or what are they saying here? I don't understand.
It says, well, I'll read it to you exactly. So we're in receipt of your demands regarding Eva and Nadia. We have reviewed both their medical records and bills, and appears they both incurred excessive treatment, and there's questionable causation of the treatment. In reviewing the records, it appears your clients had pre-existing conditions that were not related to this accident and will not be considered in our evaluation of the claim. We also think that the medical bills basically were excessive in cost, and we're only going to consider reasonable charges. And so we'd like to extend offers of $50,000 for Eva and $50,000 for Nadia. Please talk to your clients and let us know.
So it took 3 months to do that. Okay, so you're good at a lawyer. You take care of us.
Yeah, we're going to file a lawsuit, and I'm going to have this reviewed immediately by our litigation department here, and we'll get this ball rolling ASAP.
Yannick, this is Nadia. I mean, even if we did, it's a life. We are 60 years old. Even in past, if we did get hurt, we got better, but we got hurt here big time. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I mean, even a lot of people do have accidents before, but doesn't mean you don't get hurt again. So that's, it's really ridiculous.
I agree with you. I mean, at the end of the day, they're only responsible for either worsening injuries that they caused or new injuries that they caused. If you had prior injuries, and let's say you were treating for those injuries, going to doctors for those injuries, or had regular checkups with doctors for those injuries, they would not be responsible for those. They would only be responsible for anything that was new or worsened. Let's say, like, for example, let's say you had a bad shoulder, right? If you had a bad shoulder prior to this, but it was fine, it was livable, and you weren't really going to the doctor or physical therapist, and then all of a sudden this crash happens, and now your shoulder is killing you, and you need to go to the doctor, and you need to have treatment, you need to have a surgery, you need to do this. If they are responsible for all of that, they're not responsible for anything prior, so they might get a little bit of an offset, but they're not responsible for they are responsible rather for everything thereafter. So it's a BS argument. They obviously want to fight it, and so it is what it is.
Yeah, so, okay, like I said, I don't think me and my sister, 1 year, even 1 year, I don't remember, 2 years, we've been to physical therapy, we had surgeries, we didn't have none of that. So how far are they going to go? When I was 20 or when I was 30? This is what I don't understand. How far are they going to go with the medicals?
They typically would only be entitled to and ask for probably the last between 5 and 10 years of medical history to see, what exactly was going on there. But obviously, if there's nothing recently in the last 5 years, the argument is, well, this wasn't causing them problems until this crash happened. So, they might have had an injury, but it was obviously livable. It was obviously fine. Even if they had, day-to-day pain that they were dealing with, it was nothing in comparison to what happened after the crash. So, any argument that they would make goes out the window. I mean, again, let me ask you, did you have any recent, in the last 5 years, significant treatment for any injuries or pain?
I don't remember. I don't think so. I didn't have anything. I have to go look at my
Honestly,
medical.
I
I don't
see.
have anything. Personally, I didn't.
I know, right?
Yeah, I don't, not that I know. I mean, I would know if I went to have a
concussions.
surgery. What about my concussions? That didn't happen before.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I had concussions, and neurologist did the report. What's got? I never had that before. It's like my shoulder surgery. I never had that before. We didn't like back, neck. This is happened with the accident. But no matter what are we gonna say, I mean, it is what it is. We're not gonna go back and forth with them, correct? We're just gonna file a lawsuit.
There's no point. They're coming in so low. You know, it'd be one thing if they came in with a somewhat reasonable but bad offer. This is so far below anything that we would ever even consider negotiating that it's not even worth it. They're not going to jump up, you know, a couple $100,000 from where they are. It's just it's pointless at this point.
And this is what I'm surprised about. This is supposed to be a good insurance, you know? You understand what I'm coming from? Even Geico would be better than that. That's what I'm disappointed. This is supposed to be a good insurance.
Well, there's very few things that I would ever call good insurance, or very few companies I would ever call good insurance as far as making consistently good offers. You know, look, you could have gone one of two ways, right? They could have come back with a reasonable offer, or they could have done exactly like they did here and just given a crap offer and said, you know, here you go, take it or leave it. And that obviously puts us now in a position where we know, hey, at least we have a definitive answer, and we know we need to fight this, and it is what it is. But we're obviously prepared to do that and happy to do so. I think that we're going to be successful in doing so. They just want to make us fight for it, essentially.
Yeah. Do you think they're gonna drag it all the way to the court?
Well, I mean, when we file a lawsuit, it's technically in court immediately. I don't believe that it'll go to trial necessarily. That's usually the end of the road, the absolute last option if everything else has failed as far as negotiations. There's a lot of opportunities to resolve the case prior to trial. So less than 1% of all cases ever actually go before a jury. So well, we're going to file a lawsuit and get it into court, but that'll then open us up to the possibility of mediating the case. And, you know, they're going to do depositions and want to sit down and talk to you both under oath and ask you questions about your injuries, your treatment, everything else. You know, it's going to open up things as far as the court case is concerned, but as far as a trial, that's a very unlikely option.
Oh, okay. So,
How long is gonna take when you file and we'll know? Couple weeks.
How long to file, or how long does the process and litigation take?
I mean both. The process and
We'll probably have a lawsuit filed within the next probably 3 weeks. The actual court process easily could take well over a year, year and a half even. I would say on average probably about a year and a half. But it depends, you know, because what happens too, we file a lawsuit. They're now going to hire an attorney to defend the lawsuit. That attorney may take a look at the case and go, well, wait a second here. You know, I think they're kind of undervaluing the case, or, you know, maybe we need to just try and mediate it sooner rather than later, and may want to enter into serious negotiations sooner. Sometimes they say, well, screw that. Because here's the thing. Defense attorneys, unlike the personal injury attorneys, they're paid by the hour. So when a defense attorney gets involved, they now see basically their income from this case. And so they have an incentive to drag it out a little bit longer and longer than perhaps is necessary, because every extra hour that they spend on the case, that's more money directly in their pocket because they're paid up front for that time. Typically when we file a lawsuit, the other side, at least the attorney, kind of has a conflict of interest in that he wants to get paid also on this. So they bill it and bill it and bill it and bill it. So, like I said, typically about a year and a half before there's any sort of real resolution. And that gives time for disclosure of evidence on each side, opportunity for depositions. We get to give depositions. They're going to bring your doctors in and ask your doctors about the treatment that they gave you and so on. So, it'll very likely be a somewhat long experience here.
well, whatever it takes, we're gonna follow and that's what it is, you know. It is in past and past, you know.
So is this what you're gonna respond to them, correct? You're gonna respond with a lawsuit?
Correct.
Okay, that's what we need to know. Well, we appreciate it,
Thank you.
Nick, thank you very much. I didn't expect this, I mean, it's okay, I didn't expect that, but
Took them so long.
it took them that long just to come up with, to do this.
I know, it's ridiculous.
I know. But we have a good attorney, so you'll take care of it, right?
Absolutely, I know, I'm on it immediately.
All right, thank you very much. Have a great
I'll keep
weekend.
you posted, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.